G'day, and welcome to ComicsMATE, your mates in comics from the land down under. I'm Dean James, and today we're going to be talking about Sweet Baby Inc. If you're familiar with my videos and the state of the gaming industry lately, you probably knew I was going to cover all of this crap spewing from the mouths of the woke cancel pigs over at Sweet Baby, and this certainly won't disappoint. For those unfamiliar with the topic, Sweet Baby Inc. is what they themselves refer to as a diversity-focused narrative consultant and development company. Which of course is merely modern day newspeak for focused on injecting blatantly racist, anti-white activism and woke messaging into video games company. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive look into all the crap they've been up to lately, courtesy of acclaimed investigative journalist Nick Monroe, also known as News Lobster on X. And of course I'll be commenting along the way. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I'll jump right into this absolute dog shit that is Sweet Baby Inc.
That is one big pile of shit.
From Fandom Pulse, The Sweet Baby Inc. Files, Part 1, Kim BELAIR, the CEO, by Aaron Alexander. Thanks, Aaron. I appreciate you putting all this together, mate. I know this must have been a lot of work. For the last couple of years, we have been wondering why a good amount of mainstream video games have become a non-stop cringe fest full of Marxist ideology, gender ideology, and slipshod at best gameplay. Eventually, we found out why, and it is all due to a consultant company called Sweet Baby Inc. Over the weekend, Sweet Baby Inc. was rightly rebuked as they attempted to shut down a Steam curator list and get the person behind it, Cabrutus, banned from Steam. The Sweet Baby Inc. detected curator page only had about 10,000 followers when they first started this hate campaign against the curator. The downright evil losers at Sweet Baby Inc. couldn't deal with the fact that not only were their ideas hated by most gamers, hence they tried to remove the page, but they also tried to get Cabrutus' personal account banned from Steam too, losing all of his games and years of achievements in the process. This blew up in their faces as Chris Kindred, the Sweet Baby employee who led the attempted cancel pig charge against Cabrutus, has now been removed from X and did nothing to sway the public's opinion on Sweet Baby. In fact, it did quite the opposite. The Sweet Baby Inc. detected page now has about 200,000 followers, gaining more than 150,000 this week alone. That makes things pretty clear in my mind that the shit Sweet Baby are putting out isn't something gamers want. Our investigation begins with Sweet Baby Inc.'s CEO, Kim BELAIR. Until recently, little has been known about her outside the usual activist circles. But we do know she's a fixture in many gaming conferences, including GDC, where she spoke in 2019 on the topic, Now You See Me, Representation as Innovation. Here are the cliff notes. Kim BELAIR self-inserts in her writings, a telltale sign of narcissism.
I wrote about myself a lot. And I would put myself into a lot of art, into a lot of narratives, and I put my family and people who look like me in all of these cool scenarios. And I was telling all these stories where I got to see myself, I got to see people who look like me, and kind of a rainbow of people who were kind of adjacent to me.
I, me. The word narcissist barely scratches the surface when trying to describe this bitch's personality. This is going to be a theme you will only see get worse throughout this video. All she cares about is making herself feel good. She complains about the literature offerings at her high school being written by white men, and marginalized authors are reduced to a genre, a telltale sign of racism.
And this was to the point that I received a list that I'm sure many of you have received that was, here's a list of authors and stories that are legitimate. Here's a list of people and stories that are important. And as you can imagine, they were, mostly men and almost exclusively white.
Here's a list of stories that are proven to be interesting, entertaining, enlightening, or educational. Sometimes all of the above. Ew, white people! I'm so tired of this blatantly anti-white racism running rampant throughout mainstream entertainment. This chick and everyone like her makes me sick.
You need to shut the fuck up!
Kim BELAIR equates her work at Sweet Baby Inc. to a parent getting their child to eat their vegetables.
We still look at our core demographics and say, okay, they're white, cis, hetero males, and we cater almost exclusively to them. And the problem is that we don't just cater to them like, here's something that we think you'll enjoy. We cater to them the way that we cater to like a picky baby. We feed them the same thing that we know that they love, and we keep on feeding it. We're like, here you go, you love it, eat this, eat this, eat this. So that then when they get anything else, they react as a picky baby would, which is be like, oh no, thank you, I do not want this.
Yes, because if somebody doesn't like your extreme alt-left talking points, or your blatantly pro-degenerate propaganda, they must just be picky babies. All I'm hearing is that you hate your audience and refuse to give them what they actually want, even when they straight up tell you they don't like it.
It's just good business.
Most gamers are young to middle-aged adults and don't need you to tell them what they like. They already know what they like, and it isn't you or your woke garbage. Get the fuck out of here. And most importantly, Kim Belair liked to use intimidation of the cancel mob to force gaming studios to adhere to their woke Marxist values.
Put this stuff up to your higher-ups, and if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want. Because they have to consider, like, I say that out as a joke, but it's actually very, very true, because if you start to consider the people who are player and audience facing and who have to deal with mitigating harm and with keeping the sentiment around their game and their project positive, there's like a genuine value that you can impress upon them with both ethically and financially. You can say this is important. And it's also a valid discussion to have, because if you're working with a very thin narrative budget and you work in AAA, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised or dismayed by the amount of money that marketing can give you.
Holy shit. That honestly speaks for itself. She's a terrorist.
Go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them.
This is the same backstory ANITA Sarkeesian gave when she started her campaign to subvert the video game industry. Kim Belair was a guest on ANITA Sarkeesian's Feminist Frequency Radio in 2019, talking about Batman Returns. I'm not going to subdue you to the hour-long Feminist Frequency trash that I had to listen to, but it's full of exactly what you think it is. Kim at one point discusses how she loves Catwoman, but the portrayal of the character is both sexist and problematic. Then rounds out by saying she was not wrong and they believe she was correct in what she did to the, quote, patriarchy. They talk about how the Penguin is an incel and has a familiar, quote, incel freakout towards the end of the movie. They also start talking about how anti-heroes weren't a thing in 1992, showing how truly ignorant they are on anything pop culture related. She then again mentions Selena Kyle's sexuality as problematic, but also the way she mapped her identities to that growing up. Blah blah blah, our masks are our true identities, blah blah, Batman is the real Bruce Wayne. Before taking a 10-minute detour to, I shit you not, talk about their vaginas.
Vagina. 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 Vagina's vagina. 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 Vagina.
Just do women's comedy stuff, you know, talk about how fat you are and how you want to have sex with guys and then say, my vagina a lot.
Yeah, wow, you fucking suck, lady, and I bet your box stinks. It's time for the good stuff, that being Kim Belair's ramblings. The first is her article on GameIndustry.biz in July of 2020 titled, "We Need a Movement to Tackle Systemic Abuse, Not a Moment." There is something that happens to you when your voice goes unheard. I've seen it happen to so many victims, witnesses, and genuine, earnest allies. People that use the term ally are super fucking cringy. You scream so loud and so long. You do all the right things, from HR to PR, to project leads and managers, to the police, and nothing comes of it. You try again and again, but eventually you realize it isn't going to help. You aren't going to help. And maybe you think you shouldn't have tried. Because over days or weeks or years, you realize that many of the people and the corporate entities you tried to warn have decided that you, the disturber, you must be the problem. Yeah, not gonna lie, to me it sounds like you are the problem. After all, you have asked them to change, to get into fights, to upset the balance, to do work. You've asked them to consider life outside the project, to allocate budget, to dismantle a team, or God forbid, undo friendships. Yeah, you're definitely the problem. Meanwhile, the Predator has been nothing but kind. The Predator asks nothing. He smiles and laughs with them, plays games with them online, offers gifts and hangouts. He brings joy. What do you bring but trouble?
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
The only predator I see in this situation is you, Kim. You've preyed on the good nature of most people who genuinely want to be as welcoming as possible in order to make their games successful, to insert your dogmatic and divisive racism into everything you touch, which at this point has led to the closure of multiple indie game studios and massive bombs for the larger ones. You are the predator, you are the problem, and you need to be removed from the industry for the sake of everybody else. And this excerpt from the same article states, "In 2018, I founded my own narrative development company, Sweet Baby Inc. It has allowed me to build a small team united not only around writing and narrative and design, but with the common goal to make the industry a better and safer place. We are here trying to bring representation to stories, diversify teams, and get marginalized devs and aspiring devs paid work, credits, training, time, and care. I feel empowered and grateful and eager to help, but it also shouldn't take founding one's own company to feel a little safer. The work must happen in the structures and the companies where these problems are rampant, where thousands of people are mistreated every day, We must dismantle them and rebuild them with empathy and accountability, and with an ear to those voices that are leading the charge right now, whether survivor or advocate. Pay attention to the words she uses. She sounds very much like every other champagne socialist you hear spouting their ignorant nonsense on the internet. This isn't about changing things for the better. She simply wants to be the one in charge, because in her mind, she's better than you. She thinks she deserves power over gamers and will destroy everything in her path until she gets it. It's all about forcing behaviors because she knows what's best for you, and if you disagree, you're just an ignorant racist or a predator. But that's not all. Kim BELAIR made a similar rant that is 18 tweets long on Twitter a couple of weeks before the article on GameIndustry.biz. There's only one response to this. Kim BELAIR is not well. To close this out, we'd like to do a little myth busting. The myth is that Sweet Baby Inc. is only consulted on the game's stories like Spider-Man 2 and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. But thanks to this tweet from BELAIR herself and an IMDb entry, this myth was revealed to be a lie. As a result of Sweet Baby Inc.'s consulting, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League sold poorly despite Rocksteady having worked on this game for years. The Sweet Baby Inc. Detected Curator page had more engagement than the player count of the actual game, which I actually made an in-depth video about, so if you're interested in watching that, check that out in the corner. And even Sony had to give out refunds due to the game being so atrocious. But as we have seen with Kim BELAIR and the rest of Sweet Baby Inc., they couldn't care less about a compelling story or selling the game to people that she hates. Well, I think it's safe to say that gamers hate you too, Kim. Your company is currently in shambles, privating all accounts and hiding from the public. What's the matter, Kim? I thought you were proud of your work. Or is it that just like all evil things, you don't like having a light shined on what you're doing? But congratulations on doing the one thing many games journalists feared the most. You revived Gamergate. I wasn't around for the original Gamergate, but you can be damn sure I'm here now, and they, the true gamers, will have my full support. As the article stated, this is just part one of the no doubt many articles about the employees of Sweet Baby Inc. that are soon to come. So if you'd like me to cover the rest of them, make sure you've hit the like button so I know you've enjoyed this. Unfortunately, this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Sweet Baby. From what I can tell, everyone who works there is some kind of freak who doesn't actually game, and or hates real gamers. Some even have ties to known criminals like Zoe Quinn, and as mentioned in this video, that pathetic loser ANITA SARKEESIAN. But that's all I have for you today. My name's Dean James, your mate in comics from the land down under. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.